Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of my HLTV Fantasy. Today we'll be looking at Spring Sweet Spring 1 playoffs. We have finally reached the final stage of the tournament, and as you can see, it's a single elimination bracket where 4 invited teams are starting the quarterfinals, just like pretty much all of the other Snow Sweet Snows and such have been in the past as well. These teams on the upper side of this group stage are the ones who qualified. So if you win 3-2 or better, you are in this bracket. And obviously seeding has been like 3-0s against 3-2s whenever possible. I would assume Extremum Argo, yeah. Okay. Interesting teams, as always. I think I always say that. I think it's always interesting teams. There's always quite a few different, at least in this online play, I feel like it's very unpredictable still what will happen. And there's a lot of different paths you can take, I guess. Let's first check, because I'm actually kind of interested, what are the most picked players. So Golden's been picked quite a bit. 162 grand, yeah, I understand why. Fnatic are not a bad team. And damn, these players could be good. This Fnatic is not looking bad at all. As always, I will be picking at least 2 players from each side of the bracket. So from these teams, 2 players. From these teams, 2 players. Furia is quite okay. So Spirit is clearly the most picked team. Krat's been picked quite a bit. He had a real he had a really good event last time around. I believe it was, look at the Spring Sweet Spring playoff. So I did pretty good here. I was 33rd in the end. I did use all my booster and stuff. The problem here was that K23 ended up losing one. So the extreme gamble actually paid off. They just went 3-0. So they played well enough for 175 grand each. At least Lias is like a super good pick for this. Elian obviously did very well. Problem was that K23 lost one and Neelan didn't really do that well. If Neelan did better, I could have maybe done better. But the problem here mostly was that all the best players had Krad, who farmed a lot of points. So if you want to go for X-Twin Strike in this, I think Krad is definitely someone you should look into. I don't think he was that expensive. Wait, here? So I don't think Krad is that expensive, and yeah, he's like under 200 grand, and if he puts up this kind of numbers again, it would be a great pick. Also, they get one more game, so that's good. They play against Skade first. Skade is a good team. And then against Ens. It's interesting. I should, I guess, make some predictions. I still think like whoever wins here is gonna do well. Ens has not been very like I have to be kind of on the favor of Ens, right? I guess they still have 2 Finnish players. It's a Finnish organization. I kind of support them still, but their recent results have not been very convincing. Losing the double pony, Anonimo, Movistar, Skade here. They are struggling right now. I don't want to pick Ens, is basically what I'm saying here. Where did I lose? I don't need this anymore. I don't want to pick Ens. So basically, you should look into, especially like here, I think one of these teams, whoever wins, is gonna probably beat Ens, in my opinion. Because these are 2 quite good teams. What about here then? Extreme, Argo, Fnatic. I still think, I don't want to really pick out of these 2. I think Fnatic is probably going to be a little bit better than people expect. And especially with those prices like that, Golden is very enticing. Check their recent results. So they lost to Mouse in Snow Street. No, they haven't played much. Like EPL, losing to Australis and BP, like they didn't do well in EPL, but the teams they lost to were mostly fine. It's a very odd one. It could also be that whoever wins here, like Ago has been pretty good. Ago could beat like Extremum and Fnatic. Either way, I think I'm not very convinced in this side of the bracket. So here, except for these two, and like the question really is who wins between Skate and EPG. I think whoever wins here gets to the finals, and I think I need to just gamble on one of these teams. Then we have K23 Force and Spirit. Force has been fine. K23 has been fine. They went 3-1. They lost to they lost their opening match against like Apex, I think. After that, they were fine, but not the greatest. Someone like Norbert is, I think, still a very good pick, but big problem is that they're playing Spirit round 2, and I think Spirit is still a very good team, even though they lost to like G2 in their last event. Here, someone like Dexter is obviously insane. They lost to VP in DreamHack Masters. Oh yeah, they didn't do too well in DreamHack Masters. Like they lost the map against Fiend. That was almost winnable for Fiend as well. They lost the first map and it was like at least 10-10 in the second map. And yeah, they lost to G2 in Blast Premier Spring Showdown. But other than that, I mean, they are still a very powerful team, I think. Oh, yeah, it was still a pretty close one against VP. And VP are obviously a team that can definitely beat other good teams. I still think Spirit can like definitely win this event. As kind of like Furia and maybe Sinners as well. I think Sinners has probably a pretty easy matchup against Lyngby Vikings. I wouldn't expect too much from them. Open this like his, yes. Like looking at the teams they're losing to and beating. They lost to Extra Salton and beat Case. They'll beat Argo and Apex. That's pretty good. But still, I don't have I don't hold Lyngby Vikings to a very high regard. Very interesting bracket where I can see a lot of teams where that it could be. You could pick like Sinners, you could pick Furia, Spirit, K23, maybe Force, Extremum, Argo, Fnatic, Ins. Like almost all the teams are pickable. Even Lyngby Vikings is like pickable. So it really comes down to who do I really think is gonna do the best, and who have like players who are worth the price, I guess. How good are Dexter's stats? No, he really carries them a lot of the time. I don't know if this is like good enough for that price from in my eyes. Also, is Spirit gonna do that well? So I think this is the harder side to find a good team on. I'm feeling a Sinners gamble, kind of. Wait, how expensive are Sinners players, though? Like, Oscar is pretty expensive still and Neofrag as well. That's a bit problematic. Furia can always do well. And I really like picking Art because of the entry frag potential. But Furia have not been convincing lately. That's the reason I'm not, like, jumping straight to them. And I was supposed to go Furia, not Art. So yeah, losing to Big, beat Pain, but still. Losing to FaZe and Movistar, like they are kind of hitting a rough patch right now. Obviously, Gambit loss is understandable as is heroic. But these are not good losses. Like losing to FaZe and Movistar is not good. Neither is losing to Pain. I mean, to Big. Pain is obviously, I mean, you should beat Pain, but even this is not like convincing. Also, the players aren't like super cheap. So, like Art, as we kind of saw earlier, like these are not good performances. You don't like to see this from a player who's supposed to be a very good player for the team, like worth 196 grand. I don't think so. I'm probably not going Furia. I think I might go with Sinners on this side of the bracket, honestly. I'm kind of feeling Sinners. It could be worth going Spirit. It's very expensive to go Spirit. That's the real problem here. I don't want to go K23. I don't think. I just don't see them putting up the stats that they need to. I mean, Norbert isn't that expensive actually. Maybe Norbert is worth. I think he's very, very good as an individual. I feel like I always seem to gravitate towards K23 in these things, and I do think they're gonna beat 4s, but it's gonna be tough to beat Spirit. I'm gonna go with Sinners, I think, on the settled bracket. Interesting. Would feel like Oscar, or is that Neo Frag maybe? One of these guys. Oscar is a big points guy. Like, he gets you a lot of points most of the Oscar. And one of these guys, do they have some... I think Shock had higher headshot percentage before. But you can go like IGL B stick, for example. What up the other side of the bracket? Maybe you want to go IGL on that side instead. The other side of the bracket is, I think, more... There's more quality teams here. But I think you just have to pick a team and gamble on them. I think I'm going to gamble on either EPG or Cade. EPG always... I mean, Crad put up such good numbers. I want to go with him. Then it's like one of the others. Probably not Elian if we go Oscar. Could be any of these other guys. And I'll look at the stats they have. Like, Nickelback has pretty good support round statistics. You just go Crad and some other team though. What's my like 5th guy then? Oh, wait, if I go Golden, can I afford like 236? Not quite enough for Elian, unfortunately. I was kind of eyeing that. That'd be kind of sick. Getting both Oscar and Elian on the team. I don't think that's really worth. How high are B-stick stats from lately? That's a good performance. These are not. But he had... I think against like worse opposition he seems to do quite well. I think he's probably worth it to pick, honestly, B-stick. I don't know about Golden though. You just pick one of the non-alien players on EPG. What about like Forrester? He's pretty good. He can really put up some stats. I think you go Forrester. And then just the 5th guy, 196 grand for the last one. Alu is very inexpensive, but you don't want to pick like here because you're going EPG. So you'd love to pick like from this group of teams or from this group of teams. I think some of like Extremum players could be good. Like a Gratisfaction could be nice. Or Ago. Can't get Snatchy or something like that though. You can get Gratisfaction. Grad is still a very good player. You can get someone instead of B-stick as well, right? Get a Shock. Not 4 grand. Can we get someone instead of Forrester? Crad. I don't want to buy anyone instead of Crad. You could get Lucky instead of Forrester. I guess Lucky is a bit better than Forrester, right? Yeah. So this is looking pretty good to me. I think Gratisfaction can still, like, let's check. How did he do in those last matches? Like, he's done pretty good in those matches against, like, they went 3-0 in the group, right? And I think they did pretty well in those games as well. Like, they weren't like super close or anything either. I guess against Sinners it's fine to be close as well. Ago 16-13. Okay, they are quite close, but still. Against Fiend, a bit easier. I think this is pretty nice. Get 2 oppers. You can go main op on like probably Gratisfaction, and Oscar gets like multi-kill. Shock might be headshot. Lucky or Crad with IGL. I just expect EPG just wins the thing. That might very well be case even. They do win the thing. someone better than Shock for this. But it's the last player. Elan, I don't think that's better. What if I don't go Lucky and I go like Forrester instead? How expensive are some of these player 5s? But I don't think anyone's really good enough. I think it's $2,000 over is fine. We're just gonna go Lucky and Shock. How good are Shock's stats from lately? Way too many pages open right now, but oh, that's a good performance against Wars as well. Here as well. Oh my god. Yeah, he's not playing bad against pretty good teams. Like, he's putting up decent stats. I think this is a team. This is the team, guys. So main op, Gratisfaction, just because Oscar you can go multi-fragger, and I think he's gonna do better there. Then headshot, I'm gonna go with Shock. IGL on, I guess, who do we expect he's gonna do better? Because Crad had like an insane tournament, but I guess Lucky is still expected to do better. I guess we should check like what else we can put on these guys. Like support is okay here. Neither of them has good CT or T rating, like an exceptional rating on that. Entry fragger, neither of them entries too much. Neither of them clutches too much either. Or does multi-kills. I guess you could go Lucky multi-fragger actually. And then you can go for like CT rating Oscar. How about this? And then IGL here. That could work. Like Lucky multi-killing is probably like it's more likely multi-killing from Oscar, but I think I like this more because I think he's gonna sometimes get that CT rating over 1.35. It's just how like CT opening works. You're gonna get quite high rating. I think that works out quite well. And then first round, I guess against the Lingby Vikings, you should expect. We hope Oscar like Neofrag doesn't frag too hard. I guess. I go aimbot here because I don't have a better way to use it really. Just has clutches also Oscar, I guess. I'm gonna close all of these and I'm gonna go aim. So you're right. Yeah, I bought all the players, so it should still be here. Nice. I just wanted to open up all these. Check basically. God, I've got twice now. I just want to check, I guess, all of the players who has the highest grenade damage and such. So it's Oscar with highest, but Crad also has pretty high. I'll go like Kobe Crad. Why not? What about assists? 14, 13. So it's Crad as well on the assists. Actually, assist is probably better to use here, and we'll use Kobe in another round. So then we have Grat and Lucky. You want to use Saver on Grat, but later against a different team, not Ago, I think. Could go for the flash, but I can't be bothered to search the flash assist statistic now. I'll do it for a different round, I guess. Lucky and Gratisfaction. Who entries the most? Ooh, Grat entries quite a bit, so you can go bait on Grat. Hope that he gets killed and traded a lot. So who has like the lowest entry? It's like Shock, and you can go Avenger on him. Really. Where's highest KST? Lucky probably has pretty high KST, right? Pretty high. It's like the second highest. I don't think we're gonna put it on Oscar, so I'm gonna just put KST on Lucky here. Because I think I have too many boosters to use on Oscar either way. And I think that's just it. Very difficult one, I think, in general, this one. I had a hard time figuring out which teams I think are going to do the best here. if I like my honest expectations for this are, I think Spirit is probably gonna win the thing. You should expect them to do very well because I mean they are one of the higher ranked teams. Syria, I don't have high expectations for. I'm not gonna be lying. I think they're gonna get here, but gonna get beaten by Spirit. On this side, I think the non-invited teams are better. I think like EPG and Skade, whoever wins has a high chance of getting to the finals. But whoever loses, I mean, it's a gamble. I know for sure that for my second account, I'm gonna go with Skade players. So yeah, check my secondary account and my secondary lineup down in the comments down below, or in the description rather. I'll also be linking my Twitter there, and a link to this fantasy league, so you can make your own lineup as well. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.